Om Namo Bhagate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Consciousness Vipakti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shrimanita Shrideshatharini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gauravakunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So again, we start on another session of Brahma Jignasa. Okay, so quite a few questions here. As usual, questions will be available in the detailed section of the video. Question 1. The Shastras state that there are 8.4 million species of living entities. If a soul from a human body has accumulated karma, in other words, it degrades from human form and goes through all the 8 million species, considering 400,000 are already human. If not that, and we say 8 million are steps or classes, what qualifies one soul to start in a high class, species close to human form, or go to lowest of all species and start from class 1? I couldn't understand, but let me try to explain. The question is that there are 84 lakh species of life. So if a human being degrades, then where will he start? On a higher platform or lower? And what makes him start on a higher or lower platform? Because it says, we hear many times that we have gone through all the 84 lakh species. So where does he start? And why does one start higher or lower on that within that gradation? So the answer is that the first position we take as a soul, conditioned soul in this material world, is the position of Brahma, Lord Brahma. Where, from that position, we may elevate ourselves to a higher position, in other words, get liberation. We could use facilities of the body and this material world. If we don't, we'll degrade further. So the first birth is as Brahma, which is the most highest intelligent being, very close to transcendence, but material form. Then after that, he may degrade, and then the actions we do make us take another body as a particular animal in a particular species. There are 84 lakh species, out of it 4 lakh are human. Manushanam, Chaturlakshanam. So the form we take depends on our karma, that's all. If someone behaves in a very wily, cunning way, very envious and harmful to different people, he may take a snake's body. Then next birth is one step higher than the snake, then a step higher, because the bodies all have various consciousness. So according to the level of consciousness, he takes a certain birth from the past life. Once he's in animal species, he'll take the progressively higher bodies till he comes back to the human form of life. So the birth we take after human form, after degradation, depends on our consciousness. A very sinful person may take a unicellular birth as an amoeba or a small virus or something, completely not having any consciousness, almost fully covered, or plant. And after that takes a higher and higher form. Prabhupada explained that Darwin had read about this in Padma Purana, the Vedas, and he misunderstood it and termed it as evolution, that he thinks the bodies were evolving, but it was not. It was the consciousness of the spirit soul evolving progressively as it entered different bodies, higher and higher. That was what he misunderstood to mean evolution. Okay, question 2. Okay, anyone can just ask further if you have any question while I'm answering. Second. The other thing is that the demigods are classified within the 400,000 human forms. Can a demigod form degrade to the lower species within the 8 million? I'm saying 400,000 and million. Maybe I should use lakhs. Everyone is familiar with lakhs. So let me read it again. Other thing is that demigods are classified within the 4 lakh human forms. So can a demigod degrade to the lower species within the 80 lakh species, which are not human, or anything within those species? Yes, the demigod. If in Srimad Bhagavatam we saw that Gajendra, the crocodile that attacked Rajendra, he was a demigod in the past life. And then the trees, the Yamala Arjun trees, which Krishna liberated during Damodar Lila, they were also demigods. They took tree forms. And then Vritrasura, no, he was a king.
Then Narad Muni also Prabhuji in his previous life.
Narad Muni,
Gandharva.
no, that's different, because he was from before in a human form, then he took a demigod, the Rishi, among devatas. But here they're speaking about demigods,
Okay.
who took a lower birth after. So anyway, those examples I gave, Yamal Arjun trees, then the crocodile that attacked Gajendra. There may be more. Vritrasura, what was he? No, I can't remember. I think he was a king. All right. So anyway, the answer is yes, a demigod can take a lower species. They can freely move. Every single jiva in this creation, except Kshirodaksha Vishnu and Lord Shiva, they can take different forms according to their karma. There's nothing fixed. It depends on karma. The next birth depends on our karma.
Prabhuji, that means Jai Vijay were also demigods?
Jai Vijay, no, they were in the spiritual world. Yeah, that's again another example that they degraded, isn't it? That example you gave is correct, that they degraded. So they came to different species also. But before they were high, they were there, eternally liberated, then they took a lower form and went back. Although one may argue that that was Krishna's plan and the Leela, but the fact is it's possible. Yes. Okay. All right. Some contacts. Just a minute, I have to answer this. That was question 2. Okay. Question 3. What is the relationship status between a guru and disciple after a fortunate soul enters the Vaikuntha planets? Will the guru still guide the disciple? I have in mind that in college the students really need their lecturers, but mostly after graduation there is not really that need, only maybe appreciation thereafter from some students. Is it like that? The same spiritually? Yeah, Amikani asking. Good questions. I know you're considering Diksha and Guru, so that's good. Okay, so the relation we say in the material world, Janme Janme Prabhu say, that is the Sri Guru Vandana, birth after birth, he's my master. Yeah, and even let's talk about material world first. As the disciple advances, Guru becomes pleased. In the next life, the Guru comes back to help the disciple to liberate him. And even if the disciple advances, he'll never, a genuine disciple will always, even if he apparently seems to have gotten more knowledge than his guru or capability, he still sees that the guru is supreme and great, because it's through his mercy that anything comes to the disciple. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. The transcendental knowledge that manifests in the heart of the devotee, that the shining that destroys the illusion comes through the spiritual master. Even though Bhagavad Gita says in 10.9 and 10, I think, that 8 and 9, that Krishna says, I give the shining lamp and destroy the illusion, I give intelligence. That's true, but only through the mercy of the Guru. If you take a guru and serve, and you get it. Okay, so in this life, in this material world, birth after birth is our master. Even if we reach a high level, now in the spiritual world, the relation between guru and disciple is kind of, we say, eternal. Okay, so what happens in Vaikuntha? In Vaikuntha, actually, I don't want to answer beyond my knowledge. So the thing is that I don't know what happens. I don't have knowledge of this. My understanding is that in Vaikuntha, we have a relation with Krishna, we enter Krishna Leela, and that's it. Still, we have memory of what happened on earth, and we are eternally grateful to the spiritual master. That's what happens in Vaikuntha, Krishna Leela, in Goloka. We enter the Leela, it goes on. At the same time, we're so grateful to the spiritual master. That's my understanding. If a disciple, where is it? 4. If a disciple fails to go back to Vaikuntha in the next life, will Krishna arrange for another guru, or is the same guru? Like you take initiation once and for all. What if the soul goes to a heavenly planet? Will the guru still guide? Okay. In the material world, the guru continues to guide the disciple birth after birth, as it says in the Shastra. And as Narottam sings it, that Guru Vandana. Why is it that the morning program, we have 2 songs based on the Guru, Guru Vastak and Guru Vandana? So important. So good you're asking these questions. The relation is so important. There's a quote of Prabhupada that lack of faith in the spiritual master is like a crack in the foundation of a Krishna consciousness. Very horrible situation. So we should avoid it by understanding the concept of guru, disciple, and the process, the system. So the question is that in the next life, the disciple, okay, so I get that in the next slide. Right. Okay. So if a disciple fails to go to Vaikuntha in the next life, will Krishna arrange for another guru, or is the same guru? It's the same guru, always. Someone asked Prabhupada that if we don't get liberated, if the disciple doesn't get liberated, does the guru come back? Prabhupada said, yes, but don't take advantage. The point is, yes, it is true. Okay. So you take initiation. So now, is it the same guru? You have to understand concept of guru. Some people in the dream, guru comes and gives instruction. I heard many people in ISKCON, this happens. And also, but Srila Prabhupada said that once, you might have heard this, that once he was in a library, he came to sell some magazine. He was printing magazine, I think, Back to Godhead magazines. And the librarian told him, why don't you print books? Because magazines, someone will throw away, books they'll keep and read and pass on. Then Prabhupada said at that instant, he saw in that librarian, his guru, because his guru had told him to print books. So at that instant, he said, it was my guru speaking to me through this man. So you have to understand, guru is, I'm trying to, don't misunderstand, get the point exactly. But when we say guru is representative of God, actually Krishna is there. Guru is Krishna. When guru talks, Krishna talks. So guru is speaking and guiding, okay, and we understand it's Krishna. So he can take any form and guide, He came, for Srila Prabhupada, he came like that. For some, he'll come in a dream. So does the same personality come? He may, but the point is that guru will guide you. Just be rest assured until you get liberation. Of course, don't wait for the next life. Okay? Same personality coming? Or does guru guide another way? That I've not heard, I cannot say, but one thing I can say for sure is that the guru guide, ultimately the guru is guiding you. Will he come through here, through there, to that person, or directly? That I don't know. Okay, important thing is that it is there, the concept is there. What if the soul goes to the heavenly planets? Will the guru still guide? The guru guides. It says in the song, Janme Janme Prabhu say, he's my Lord, birth after birth, he will remain with you. Okay, heavenly planet, I heard that heavenly planet and hell, it's not at all conducive to practice bhakti. And whenever Prabhupada describes a heavenly planet, he says that we use up our good credit and come back to earth. Shine punye martya lokam vishanti. Tetam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam. Shine punye martya lokam vishanti. They enjoy the heavenly planets, then they come back. So as far as I know, bhakti, it's not going on. Not much can go on in heavenly planets. Does the guru come to the heavenly planets and to hell? I'll be honest, yes, I don't have knowledge there. It's very important I don't give wrong knowledge. I'll just say that I don't know. But my understanding is that hell and heaven are not conducive for bhakti. And in is the planet Earth where everything goes on. Demons and demigods do have gurus, but they're not these gurus like Shukracharya for the demons who are located in higher planets. It's not the same like a spiritual master that we speak about.
Prabhuji, so for Prahlad Maharaj, when Narad Muni came as a spiritual master, but again he was the Hiranyakashipu, he was the ruler of the lower planet system.
No. Actually, that time he had taken over Indra's kingdom. He was in Indra's palace. That was my memory. He was in the heavenly planets, even though he was demonic.
But his wife was in the lower planets. Who was abducted by Indra?
Yeah, wife was abducted. No, attempted to be abducted. Then at that second, Narad Muni came and said, "What are you doing?" They said that we're going to take her away because she's got another child. Already here in Hiranyakashipu caused so much problem. He said, "No, this child is a pure devotee. You cannot even harm him if you want to." So then they left her and circumambulated her, because, well, the child basically. So then Narad Muni took her to his ashram. Lower planets? No, I not heard that. I know Hiranyakashipu did tapasya. Where he did it? Was it Mandara Mountain? Something like that. But not the lower planets. She was with Narad Muni in his ashram. Then he was instructing her spiritual knowledge.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's one exception. You can see, yeah, that was, he's the rishi among the demigods, among the devotees. So he gave spiritual knowledge to Narad Muni at that stage. That was the heavy planets. Okay, that is, you can say, exception. There might be others like that. But in general, like when you hear from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, that spiritual world, what goes on? Swargalokam Vishalam. They Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam. They go there to enjoy. They're given a body, senses to enjoy. They cannot really do bhakti much. It's very difficult. Therefore, in 5th canto Bhagavatam, it says that demigods are queuing to take birth in Bharatvarsha and Kali Yuga to get liberated. This is the place for karma and bhakti, and the other places are for enjoyment and suffering based on what we did wrong.
Prabhuji, let's suppose, means if the guru guides in the next birth life form also, how can this be possible? Means let's suppose we take initiation from Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj.
Yes.
And until I reach an age of like 40, 45, Guru Maharaj also will maybe, he may leave his body soon. But then in the next life form, he must be attaining Vaikuntha planets. Then, but I will be here if I will not progress in Bhakti 100% successfully. Then how he will guide?
You have to, you see, some concepts to learn, and the vision has to change when we speak about bhakti and spiritual activities. So when we say this, like the spiritual master attains Vaikuntha, yes, but Prabhupada described what is Goloka, what is Vaikuntha. Here on earth, in the present existence, they can be in Goloka because they're fully immersed in serving Krishna. Karmana manasagira, jivan mukta sauchyate. Riha yasya hare dasya karmana manasagira nikala savi avasthasu jivan mukta sauchyate. That if somebody is with his full mind, body, and word serving Krishna, he's liberated. Okay, so whether the spiritual master goes to Goloka or Vaikuntha or stays here, he's in Goloka. He'll not be touched by Maya, not by suffering. You'll see that he'll be blissful always. Okay, and he could go there, be here, like Srila Prabhupada, he was always in Vrindavan. He never left in one way. Okay, so the spiritual master, and then if you're looking at the age, that okay, but then again, these are not things to consider. See, supposing in the next birth, and then it happens, everything will be set up by Krishna. Even in the past life, whoever was, at a certain stage of spiritual existence, they took birth in such a way that they were able to get an association with a devotee. They had such a parent, such a friend in such a place. We can't conceive how Krishna will organize it, but everything will be planned accordingly. That Suchinam Shimatam Gehe Yoga Brishta Vijayate. He will be born in a certain place. Okay, and then Yatate Tatra Buddhi Samyogam Labate Purva Dehikam. Then he attains his previous consciousness. Krishna will organize it. Labate Purva Dehikam. He gets his past level of advancement. Yatate Chatata Bhuya Samsida Kurunandana. Then he begins to attain, he again endeavors. Okay, then it goes on. Purva Bhihasina Yogena Hriyate Hi Avasho Pisa. Okay, so the point is that Krishna will organize it, and the Guru will come in such a position that again he'll be Diksha and he'll be over. How to understand? It will happen. It's inconceivable. It will happen. Krishna's plan. It's like that. So when we come to speak about spiritual and issues and bhakti, so it's of course tendencies to judge with our material, but it's a completely different rules and consideration. Yeah. Next question. Can a devotee degrade to the extent of going into a lower species, or as stipulated in the scriptures, that a soul can go to the heavenly planets, enjoy, and then return back to the earthly planets to complete bhakti? Yeah, so is that possible? That's a question. I have in mind a devotee initiated who completely goes back to old habits, like breaking all four regulated principles. Can a devotee go to the lower species? Well, Srimad Bhagavatam, what's his name? Bharat Maharaj took the form of a deer. He was at the Bhava stage. That, I'm quoting Shastra, that's immediately devotee. He was a devotee. He was quite advanced. And if I recall right, Gajendra, again, he was a devotee. And okay, now what is common here, you have to understand. Yes, they took an animal birth, but because they were so devoted, they had their memories, and Krishna favored that they could easily remember past mantras. Like Jadabhara took birth as a deer, he was chanting shlokas in his mind, he could remember them. Then Gajendra was in difficulty, he remembered Vishnu and prayed to him. So yes, you can degrade to animal species, but whatever you degrade, Krishna will protect you. Krishna will protect. Okay, so a devotee who completely goes back to old habits, like breaking four regulated principles. The thing is also that even whatever happens, Krishna will take care. He will. Once someone takes shelter, what to speak of such advanced devotee, even a beginning devotee, he comes into ISKCON and leaves, and Krishna will, so many stories how he comes back. He's sitting in a plane with 300 people, and the only Hare Krishna in the plane is the one next to him. Just, by chance. Oh, is it a chance? No, so many things like that. Oh, you're in ISKCON, you give a donation, and there's some famous singer in America. What's her name? Diana Ross. So her son got a really became a big devotee, not big, very serious devotee. Then the devotees who are speaking with him, he said, yes, my mother gave a big donation once to ISKCON. So Krishna didn't forget. So, like, yes, the animal species, yes, they can take, but Krishna will take care. It won't be like a normal animal. Unless someone's very offensive to devotees and guru, then I don't know, their destination can be very serious. Okay, that's that question answered. Yes. we
Prabhuji,
can- Yes.
I just want to add one more question to
Yeah.
this question in
Yeah,
itself.
sure.
Let's suppose we do our sadhana with pure devotion, okay.
Yeah.
But in the past, since we have made too many sins, okay, so for all those sins, still we have to go to Patal Lok and suffer and then come back, and or it will be like neutralized.
So, whatever we have done in the past, if we take up the path of bhakti in all seriousness and do not repeat it, then as we begin to practice adaushada, tata sadhu sangha, these stages are highly purifying. When little faith comes in Krishna, it's like a little light which begins to destroy darkness. Then tata sadhu sangha, you associate with devotees, so many sins are destroyed, so powerful. And that reaction is heavily, what's that word? It's stunted. It will not come fully with full effect, the reactions for those sins. Then third stage, bhajana kriya. When one takes diksha, the guru takes away everything. Not everything. I heard somebody takes half. Somewhere else it says he takes everything. But if he took everything, then we'll get liberated. Then we cannot preach. So I heard, I think it was Bhakti Thakur who said that why, when someone gets purified, why doesn't he get liberated and go to Vaikuntha? He stays in the body, and the body's material body is spiritualized. He will stay. Why? So he can preach. Otherwise, we'll not be able to see them because we can't see spirit. Okay, so your question that does the devotee, sorry, what was that? Repeat. I got
Yes. I mean, for all the past sins.
past.
does-
Okay, so I'll reply it now. So sins are destroyed during Diksha, even before that. So many sins are destroyed. We can't imagine how we get purified. It's so powerful. The definition of Diksha, I mean, they're different. One is that Divya Jnanam Yathodadhyat Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam Tasma Diksheti Sa Prokta Deshikas Tattva Kovide. That, of course, many times the translation starts at the end of the Sanskrit. So the Tattva Kovide, the learned people describe Diksha as a process by which one attains transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnanam Yathodadhyat, Kuryat Papasa Sankshayam, and sins are destroyed. Of course, it's not that not that we want to destroy the sins, but that happens. That is bhakti process. So the sins are destroyed, and they will not act. Okay, except now if someone here's the, because you cannot have a black and white answer that yes or no. But the thing is like this: if one does bhakti very intensely, then everything's burned up. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham. If one does bhakti with all very intensely in this life, but if we do it in a halfway, not serious, little enjoyment, little bhakti, then that effect will not be so much, then it will not destroy that much of your swabha and your karma. So it's like that, depends on the practitioner. But it's possible to fully liberate and destroy in one life. And that is there in the verse in Bhagavatam. I'll not remember it properly, but I'll give you the hint, is that Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha, then Abira Shumba Yavana Khasadaya, Ye Api Shuddhyanti Yadupashraya Shreya, Yadupashraya Tasmai Prabhavishnave Nama. Yeah. So that verse says that if one takes shelter of one who took shelter of Vishnu, not Vishnu, but a devotee of Vishnu, means a guru, Yat upashaya shaya tasmai prabhavishnave namaha, then te api shuddhyanti, they'll also be purified. Who? Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abira, Shumba, Yavana, Khasadaya, which means Kirata, I think that means Africans or people in the jungle. Huna, the Huns, East Europe. Huna, Abira, Arabs. Pulinda, Greeks. Yavana, Turks. It's translated like this. Yavana, Khasa means you can say Oriental, Chinese, Japanese. So that they had left Vedic culture, that is sinful. They were living, but even if they take shelter of one who took shelter of Vishnu or Guru, they are also purified. So the answer to the question is yes, whatever you did, it can be purified, depends on the intensity. And of course, it's not automatic, it depends on Krishna. If he decide to do it, he can do it in 1 second. We can't imagine in 1 second he can do it. Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is the significance of keeping a shikha, the top hair left after shaving? Is it prescribed in the Vedas? What are the benefits of keeping? At times, I struggle to answer when someone asks what is a shikha. Srila Prabhupada said once, someone asked him that among transcendentalists, you have personalists and impersonalists. So impersonalists, they don't keep a shikha. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have had a shikha because he took Diksha in the impersonalist line. He took sannyas in the impersonalist line. And then they shave off their shikha and everything. So the shikha identifies a personalist from impersonalist. That's the first thing. That's what I heard. Transcendentalists would shave their head, renunciates, but the personalist would, that's identification for a Vaishnava. And it's significant in another way in that the liberation process happens when the soul leaves from a certain hole in this part of the head, Brahma Rundra. The Brahma Rundra is a small hole between the 3 plates making up the skull, and that's where liberation happens, and that's where the shikha is meant to be, to mark that place, liberation. That is second reason. That, yeah, I heard these 2 reasons from Srila Prabhupada. That is its significance. So should a Vaishnava keep a shikha? Is it important? Yes, Prabhupada said very important. Even there were some people who said that, Prabhupada, we are selling your books in libraries, so we are going in suits and we are selling more books. Prabhupada said, very good, anything to give the books. But you must keep the shikha and the tilak. He said it clearly. There's some strange phenomena of Krishna West. Now it is gone. Unfortunately, they're promoting that the cultural aspect is an obstacle. So we should have, it should be like everyone should wear Western clothes, behave in a Western way, and just take the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So many people rejected that, especially scholars and serious followers of Prabhupada who know what is Prabhupada's message. And that is that the cultural aspect, the dress and everything is very important for identifying us and for our benefit, that we don't go around, we cannot get mixed up into something, because we know that people understand I'm a Vaishnava, they can see me. So we have to always keep that outward appearance for that purpose. It will protect us and for people to know he's a Vaishnava. I've been outside India and people have come and approached me, you're a devotee. I'm talking about the beginning when I was not fully joined. I was in between, started to wear the Kantimala stuff, and just Kantimala, someone identified, oh, you're from ISKCON. And that was that was London actually. So it's important. Yeah, so shikha is important, and why we keep it, those are 2 things that Prabhupada I heard. All right.
Prabhuji, Kantimala also I have one question.
Yeah.
Some some devotees says like it depends on the rounds, how many rounds you wear. Okay, so like if you don't eat non-veg and if you still having onion garlic, then you can wear 2 rounds. Is it like that? And if you completely avoided onion garlic, then you can wear 3 rounds. So is it like that, or we can?
No, the practice in ISKCON is like this. Why do we wear Kantimala? Kantimala is one of the Pancha Samskar. When we take Diksha, there are 5 things which we do. Okay, first is not necessarily in this order, but Nama, Tapan, then Urdhva Pundra, Yaga, Mantra. Okay, so when one takes Diksha, even the Sri Sampradaya, they follow Pancharatra just like us. Nama, one gets a name of God as a servant, like someone, Das, servant of God, Das. Name, Diksha name. Okay, Nama. Second is Tapan. Tapan means it's a symbol that one has surrendered. For the Sri Sampradaya, they burn with the hot metal. They'll burn here, Shankar and Chakra. Now we Kali Yuga Jivas, having very soft and not so determined. So our tapan is this. Their indication is here. And Sri Sampradaya, a lot of them would not wear cloth. I mean, they wear the top. Uttari, it could be seen. Our tapan is the symbol that, this is the symbol. So it's shown that one surrendered. Okay, then we have the other samskara, 3 of them. No, won't go through it now. So tapan is signifying one surrendered. So now if you did not surrender your sterility, meat, onion, garlic, then where's the question of wearing it? It means one is serious. Strictly speaking, in other sampradayas, tapan will only come after diksha. Therefore, in diksha, they give the beads, they give the kantimala also during the yajna, in any process of diksha in ISKCON. Now, before diksha, people wear it. Yeah, that has been, we have to investigate it, but how that is, but they do it. It's a practice in ISKCON. But they'll wear 1 round to show, yes, I'm on the path, I'm serious, but I haven't taken diksha. 3 rounds means you took diksha. No one should wear 3 rounds if they didn't take diksha. And aspiring for diksha and seriously practicing is 1 or 2 rounds. Everything else I've not heard. Other things, that's people may, have their own.
So,
yeah.
So to clarify, just so if one is still having onion garlic,
Yes.
but following 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 and all,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
can he wear 2 rounds?
What I heard at the book table when I joined new and I was, people are coming and asking for beads, is that you tell them that if you're having onion garlic, do not wear it. But if they still take it, let them. But something like Tulsi Mala, that will not give under any condition unless you took diksha. But like tilak, it's little bit not so fixed, but one should be accepting Krishna as supreme and falling for it and serious. Okay, then onion garlic, that I've seen, there's people, some do wear, it's not strictly enforced, it's not. But the practice is normally to tell them that, look, you follow properly, then you wear it because you're presenting yourself as a Vaishnava. So if you're doing something Vaishnava, then it's not proper. But it's not so, that with this, it's not so fixed like that as other things. I don't think it's a big aparadha or something. I don't think so.
Okay, Prabhuji.
I hope I answered the question. Some points go here and there. All right, next question is. Oh, it's repeated. Yeah, I don't know. Some of you may have read. I posted this, but I repeated the question. Okay, now next. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he is Indra, Marichi, Kartika, etc. Yeah, that's mentioned in the chapter 9, 7, 10. That he pervades the entire universe as Paramatma. But Indra and others mentioned are individual souls, right? And how to properly understand this. In that section, I think you're talking about chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. Krishna is explaining his greatness. So then when he says that of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the Rudras, I am Shiva. Of the rivers, I am Ganga. So here what is happening is Krishna is explaining anything great, big or powerful is a manifestation of me. I gave that power. All right, so of the demigods, he's Indra. Indra is the king of the demigods. Okay, or like that. So that is the indication, Vibhuti Yoga, how powerful, Vibhuti, power, Vibhu. How great Krishna is, that out of anything you see, he's the greatest in that. Of silence, I am of the secrets, I am silence. The best way to keep a secret is just be silent. So yeah, in that way, anything great is Krishna in that list. Okay, then he also says, eventually concludes that he pervades the entire universe as Paramatma. Yeah, I think you're talking about that last verse of Atakena praktayam. Sorry, what is that? Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tava arjuna vishtavyam idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. Just by one single fragment, I'm pervading and supporting the entire universe. So the question is here that you say, Krishna says he's Indra, then he's Marichi, he's Kartikeya, he's this, he's that. But then at the end he's saying, and I pervade the whole universe. Then how can Indra, Marichi, and them, Kartik, be pervading the whole universe? But then you have to take the concept. The idea here is Krishna is explaining his greatness. That anything, you can see in the verse before this, Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam shrimad urjitam evava tattat eva vagachatvam mama teja amsha sambhava. He concludes by saying, anything great, opulent, beautiful, or glorious is just a particle of my greatness. So we understand, actually Krishna is quoting here, that anything great and what among things, the greatest among them, that is Krishna. Of animals, I am the lion. So where does that lion get his strength? He's so great that it's just a part of Krishna's greatness. That is the concept. So when he says, I pervade and support the whole universe, that is another feature of greatness of Krishna. So that is the understanding. Question, 33 Koti Devata means 33 crore or 33 different categories of Devatas. What is the real meaning of 33 Koti? Koti, very often in Sanskrit, when we say, I hope you heard the question. You might have heard it. The question is saying that when we say 33 deities, Koti, does it mean 33 divisions, or does it mean crore? What is the real meaning? Crore or divisions? Koti in Sanskrit, sometimes they'll say a word, but it's not really like if you say Sahasra, Vishnu Sahasranam, and if you count, will there be 1,000 names? Could be number, not necessarily exactly 1,000. Sometimes we'll say that 100 heads, or something like Ravan had 10 heads, maybe okay 10, but we'll say like 100 armed or 100 qualities, but it's not really that number in Sanskrit. So even Koti means many, many. So in this, many people say that it means actually 33, but no, Prabhupada says he uses it many times when he says this, it means many, many, not 33. That isn't a quote actually. It's difficult to find right now. I think, maybe Vivek sent it to me once or posted it, because I got a similar question. Or is it from you? I don't know. One of you, this question came up before. So that is a Prabhupada quote that actually it's not 33, but 33,000 million crore. It's in that context. Koti means a lot. In another section of the Shastra, it says Koti Koti Janam. I saw the Hindi translation. Koti Koti Janam ke baad bhakti prapt hota hai. After many, many, and they say Koti Koti, many, many, many. It means many in that context. So after many births, one gets bhakti. So that's the explanation. It's not 33. It's not exactly 33. You count it, but it's many, many. And I'll find an exact quote and post it on the group to show you. Next question. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight. It's mentioned that the war was a religious war and not just like any other war, which mostly has some selfish motive. However, in Mahabharata, we also hear that this war started in the heavenly planets between demons and demigods. May you please elaborate more on this war? Okay, trying to understand the question. This war started in the heavenly planets between the demons and demigods. So, understanding the question is that there are wars in the heavenly planets between demons and demigods. So we are saying Kurukshetra was a war based on dharmic principles. Krishna encouraged Arjuna to fight because this war was a religious war, so he had to fight. But any other war is a selfish motive. Okay, now I read Mahabharata, but not the detailed one. He's saying here in Mahabharata, we also hear that this war is started. This was started in the heavenly planets between demons and demigods. Okay, don't know about that. Started. Now, in the heavenly planets, there are wars between demons and demigods. Those are not dharmic wars. They're fighting over a kingdom. In one way, it's dharmic because Krishna helps the demigods because they're devotees. So he wants them that they should rule and then the plan of the earth should go on. But they're not pure devotees. They're not pure. Even Krishna sometimes won't interfere. Demigods apparently suffer. Demons take over, that we saw. But now what is going on the earth, and Krishna was there, that was a real dharmic war. Krishna was present. He specifically said that, no, I want Yudhishthira to be in power. This was his desire. And he actually came to remove the burden of the earth, adharma. That is in the beginning chapter, first paragraph, first sentence of 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Demigods go to Brahma, Surabhi, no, not Surabhi. The earth in form of a cow went to Brahma and said that my condition is very bad. I have to support these sinful people. It's very heavy weight. I cannot take it. So then they went to the milk ocean to speak with Vishnu, to communicate with Vishnu. He said, I will descend and I will remove the burden of the earth. So Krishna wanted to remove the burden of the earth. That was his plan. And so Arjuna had to act as an instrument. That was a dharmic war. Dharmic war among Kshatriyas is they were allowed to invade other kingdoms. If dharma was not being maintained, it will not be sinful. They can invade and kill the other army and conquer. They will not get sin because it's to establish dharma. So that was that Kurukshetra war. Now the wars that take place in the heavenly planets, they're not like that. The demigods, sometimes they have illicit relations also. We read about that. And when a devotee becomes a pure devotee, even the demigods are sometimes put obstacles on their path when they see them advancing. That's given in purport of Bhagavatam by previous acharyas, somewhere in the 11th canto. Okay, so difference between dharmiko and adharmiko, I just mentioned. Not necessarily that the heavenly planets, the wars that are going on are dharma. But because they are devotees, Krishna favors them more. Ye bhajanti tamam bhaktya maiteteshu chapyaham. He, those who worship me, I am in their heart, they're in mine. Krishna does assist them. Okay, I answer last question, then next session, because, oh, but it's, I think only 2 remaining. Okay. Okay, next question is on tilak. Why do devotees decorate their faces with tilak? What is its significance? How can we explain in a simple way to people who do not know about this? These are series from Yamika. Okay, especially I recall when I was in Africa, that was an issue. It was a big issue because the people who painted their faces were also doing black magic, and some of the witch doctors, or the black people who did black magic. So they got afraid. They thought that's what we are doing. So they got really scared. Then we explained, no, we're not doing that. So why do we put tilak? There are 2 quotes on that I found once. Prabhupada said that tilak is a sign of victory. Okay, victory. My understanding was that there is Maya, there is Adharma, this is material world. People left Krishna, but victory, that I am representing Krishna, I surrender to Krishna, and I am propagating Krishna, and I will succeed, and I mark them. Everyone should see from the back, from the side, from the front, that he's surrendered to Krishna. Okay, and markings of tilak also identify sampradayas immediately by seeing Urdhva Pundra, tilaks that go up. There's a Vaishnava, that means we're going to go up to Vaikuntha, and others come like this. That means we'll remain in this material world, the cycle of birth and death. Simply by seeing, we can identify a Shiva Vaishnava, a Madhva, a Niskon devotee, even a Shyamanandi within ISKCON, within Gaudiya Sampradaya, we can identify. Their tilak is a little different. Tilak is important that way. Before everyone wore tilak, it was strange not to wear. Now, if someone wears a tilak, he's a strange person. They don't allow it. But tilak is very important. Prabhupada emphasized it. He said, even if you wear a suit and tie, okay, do it. But wear your tilak and wear the shikha. He said that clearly. You imagine how they look. But Prabhupada said, yes, don't give up the tilak. And especially sannyasis and especially brahmacharis, they should not. Now, grahastha, maybe for preaching this or that, still it's not recommended, but a brahmachari or a sannyasi should do it. Because they're meant to be propagating, like sannyasi especially is abhaya, fearless and meant to be propagating and preaching. So where's the question of not having tilak? So what is significance of tilak? So as first thing is, Prabhupada said it's sign of victory. And second is that it's marking the body as a temple of God. We are marking that the body, I'm worshipping Krishna. I acknowledge Krishna is within. And I'm marking this body as a board of Vishnu. Vishnu is inside. Vishnu is here. So we mark the tilak, 12 places. When we mark the tilak, we chant names of Krishna or Vishnu. Okay. That's also there. That's important. We don't just put the tilak. It's a devotional process to put the tilak. Is that everything about tilak? Yes. How to explain it to people in a simple way? What I used to do when I was out of India, when I recall in the West, they used to say this. I think Prabhupada also wrote this, that this body is a temple of God. We are marking the body as a temple of God. That's best way for them, because the religious systems outside of Vedas are not so advanced to understand things like, okay, Paramatma is within, and we are having different sampradayas and different schools of thoughts within the Vedas, and so the tilak identifies that. You can say that simply it is marking the body as a temple of God. And another is identification, just like a policeman, you identify by his clothes and his hat. So the tilak, you identify this person surrendered to Krishna. Actually, the tilak signifies the feet of Vishnu, 1 and 2, like that. Now it's become small, but the Sri Sampradaya, it used to occupy this whole area, will be white here and red here, and it comes down there also. So that was tilak before. You can imagine, people are afraid of putting on small tilak here, but in the past, they paint the whole half the face. That was their, spiritual bliss and pride. Okay, so tilak represented the feet of Vishnu. And one who surrenders, takes diksha, one of the pancha samskar, the 5 things that you do is urdhva punda, we put tilak. But simply tell people that it is marking the body as a temple of God. If you're outside India, within India, you can say it clearly. Okay, the last question here, unless someone else had one. If I'm going to live life as a grahastha, then how can I achieve Prabhupada's motive of self-sustainable farms? How can we smoothly shift from IT jobs to agriculture, keeping children's future in mind? I want to know more about it. It requires a lot of time to answer. There are many factors to consider, but yes, so we'll say some of the basic points. The important thing that Srila Prabhupada communicated when he met people, and me also, is to be Krishna conscious. That is the first thing. Why did the village life break down and the self-sufficient farms before, hundreds of years ago? Why did they break down? Krishna consciousness, lack of Krishna consciousness. So if we maintain that, everything follows. This is my experience. Any great idea you have or people have or family, whatever it is, it should all be based on a strong practice, strong sadhana, serious and sincere practice of Krishna consciousness, then practically within the heart, Krishna will guide you. So it's good for me to mention, I'm sure a lot of you do these things, but chanting 16 good rounds, preferably in the morning, following the 4 regulative principles, and it could be subtle, like some of them are broken subtly also. Meditating on sense gratification is not good. Okay, 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, rising early before sunrise, reading Prabhupada's books regularly, especially Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. This gives us strength. Okay, and then maintaining association with devotees and Guru, serving the Guru. This gives us strength. Okay, then we don't have to worry because Krishna will guide from within through the devotees, through the Guru, through Shastra. We'll be reading Bhagavatam, we'll realize this is for me, this instruction. That will happen. But having said that, I just go a little deeper. So how to go about this? As I know, for example, like someone as Vaikuntha has established some farms, but he's discouraging new ones till these ones take off. So the good thing would be is first of all become fixed in Krishna consciousness. Next, you understand the harmful effects of this so-called civilization. Understand properly what they call education is not that. What they call food is poison, water is poison. Particularly everyone over 60 and 50 is getting cancer or other diseases. Everyone is sick, even young children, young energetic youth are getting sick because of the so-called civilization way of living. And then what about the social systems? Free mixing between men and women, Prabhupada said, it's like the worst thing that kills the spiritual thing in the college. Even children are brought to school, somehow they've given a good education, even they're being brainwashed in the school, but at home they may manage to, keep them pure and having a devotional attitude. But whoever didn't manage to get degraded so far, it just has to go to the college and get degraded. So we have to understand even of this college system, education, and economic society, which is so exploitative, and this free mixing of men and women, and then this idea of that women duties, they're not at all, they're equal to man. Prabhupada said, how can men be equal to women? Because they, when both of them unite, the woman gets pregnant, she has to take care, then the man walks away, and who will feed the child? She's also in a weakened state after that. Giving a child, man has to provide, and he goes away. Men and women are not equal. They have different roles. So now how to be fixed? First of all, you have to develop that determination in the mind. So that comes first with understanding, exposing this civilization, because we are covered by Maya. We have to get knowledge and understand the evil of this civilization. Second, be fixed in Krishna consciousness. Third, understand what is the farm, what is the psychology behind it, the whole idea. Because then when things get tough, then you understand, no, but this is the mission, we have to do it. First of all, Guru's order, Prabhupada's order also. And it's the order of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, established Varnashram, Bhakti Siddhanta. We can't do that in the city. We are not in charge. Demons are in charge. We have to go where we are. Now, your question was more technical, if I understand. How can we achieve the motive? All right, how to do it. So what I said, that is one thing. Another thing is you begin to correspond with people who are leading the farms and who are major personalities in this area. It's quite a few. We know Keshavanand Prabhu, Sabyasachi Prabhu, there's some of them. Nartak Gauranga Das, Nandagram, Nartak Gauranga Prabhu. There's quite a few I may not know also. Anyway, through that personally, I can tell you who to contact. So you contact these personalities, speak with them, ask them questions. And another thing, important thing, is to visit the farms, spend a weekend, spend a week, spend a month, serve, be there, and then you'll see when you go back to the city and leave there how it's so difficult to do that. It's quite a few times I had to stay on the farms. I was helping in some services, especially with book writing. So Maharaj used to like going to the farm. It's a good environment. So, like it or not, I had to get experience. It was great, of course. So, how to prepare? You visit farms. That's another point. Regularly. get a more and more idea and get the determination. If that's fixed, then nothing will shake you. Shift from how to smoothly shift from IT job to agriculture. One thing is that now you can start some agriculture in your house. You keep some pots, start growing things. If you have a patch of land anywhere, start growing. Get used to touching the soil. You know, and lifting plant and planning and thinking about these things. You can do that. We were staying in Chennai, we grew some few vegetables. Now we're growing some flowers, but they're not growing. Anyway, keeping children's future in mind. Yeah, homeschooling if you want, your personal. I know families, I know personally here, right here in Bangalore, some of congregation who are teaching their schooling their kids at home. And of course, there's a heavy dose of spiritual knowledge. Someone has 2 sons, he's doing that. There may probably be others. So one can totally bypass this so-called the government syllabus, local education, and at home you train the kids. And then at least they'll prepare, they'll be ready. But if they get into school, then it will be difficult. Then you need to give them smartphones and all these things when they come up. Smooth shift from IT job to agriculture, keeping children in mind. So children, homeschool, don't send them out. They should be prepared, okay? And as for IT shift, you spend weekends on a farm. You actually use your fingers and pick up the mud, take care of the cows, wash them practical if you have to do practical. You have to go from the theory to the practical very fast to understand that. I know people talk about it, but actually you have to practically get into it. I recommend one thing to people who want to join ashram, Grahastha ashram, farm, is that they spend at least 1 or 2 years in a brahmachari ashram. It is very invaluable. Prabhupada wanted 5 years actually, but depending on your age, he wanted before they get married, everyone stayed 5 years in the ashram, brahmachari ashram. That will give a training for controlling your senses and mind, and one can fast track absorb the philosophy, even the idea of establishing farm that is there in Prabhupada's first canto Bhagavatam in such a powerful way, and you hear lectures on it, discuss with people, and yeah, should control senses, get the philosophy, and develop a taste for renunciation because your strength, purity is the force. The strength of your practice in Krishna consciousness comes from the purity. So that develops, we try to develop that by time in the brahmachari ashram where we are forced to be living a life like that. And then most people leave after that. And then Prabhupada used to say, a good brahmachari will make a good grihastha. Otherwise, then once people shift to the grihastha ashram, it's difficult because suddenly flood of different duties, desires, things come. So one should be prepared by nicely fortifying themselves. It's recommended if you can. All right. That is, as you said, a long question. And personally contact me again because I give you contacts of people who are involved in these projects.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm thinking of going to in Jharkhand. I'm staying now, so
Yeah.
Kesavanand Das Prabhuji also. Means there are 2 Kesavanand Das Prabhuji. So one of them is running Gurukul. So it's in Jharkhand. It's 60 kilometers away from my place, hometown. So I'm planning to go.
Okay, that's near to you, 60 kilometers.
Yes.
Okay. Do it, yeah, get involved. Yes, very good.
And where do you stay, Prabhuji? Means where is the temple? It's in Salem or it's in JP Nagar?
I'm located in JP Nagar, Bangalore. And but travel a lot to Vellore, sometimes to Salem also.
Okay. So, miss, if I have to go through the brahmachari training, 2 years.
Also
studying.
that, yeah, on a personal thing, we can discuss it just after this.
Okay, okay.
But in a general way, that's the idea, that one spends time. I can work out technicalities with you. And keep aside some time. The benefit will be the rest of your life and thereafter, life after, of course. Better there's no life after this. Okay, so now we can continue discussing about your situation just now. Okay. Meanwhile, I just look at these questions. We finish them. But still, if there's some further clarification, someone can contact me on this personally. Okay, whoever's going to hear it and watch after this class. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.